Welcome to Google Chrome. This video will focus on Calendar. Now that you've logged into Google Chrome and you've played around with the tabs and the apps and the extensions, it's time to move on to collaborative tools. Click to open Calendar. Calendar will automatically open in a weekly view. Let's go up and change it to monthly. Just as a side note, you can also access Google Calendar through your apps. We see all of October, and we see that Google's already added in the major holidays for us. Columbus Day is a little faded out because it's already passed, and Halloween's darker because we haven't gotten there yet. Today's date is in gray. Let's create an event, but before we do, let's go do it in November. November 13th, we're going to add in our teacher technology meeting. So I click on the 13th and type in the title. I'm going to go in and shorten it up just a little bit, call it Teacher Tech Team, and I create event. When I do so, it's sitting there on the 13th, but because it's a solid bar, it implies that it's an all-day event. We know that our meeting doesn't last all day, so let's go edit the event. I just do a normal left click, edit event. I could change the title or the day, but I'm going to unclick all day so I get time boxes. I'm going to click it down to 3:20. I don't have a 3:20 option, so I'm going to click 3 o'clock p.m. Click backspace manually and just type in 3 o'clock, or pardon me, 3:20. The end time as 4 o'clock. Now it jumped it to 4:20 because it does it in 30-minute and 1-hour increments automatically, but I can manually backspace and type in 4 o'clock. I can add a location if I want, that's optional, but I'll type in Central Elementary, and when I do so, it's going to give me some options to choose from, or I can just click anywhere out here and it's going to close the box and leave it just the way I typed it. Again, the location's optional. There are other features, but let's just start by creating the event. So go up to Save, and you'll see that now it says that it is on November 13th, it starts at 3:20 p.m., and it's my Teacher Tech Team meeting. Let's pretend for a minute that we met every week. I could go in every Thursday and add the event, or I can go to my original event, just do a normal left click, edit the event, and have it repeat. If this were my personal calendar and I were putting in a birthday, for example, I might want it to do it yearly so that every year on November 13th, this event would pop up. But for this example purpose, we're just going to do it weekly. I want it once a week. It's putting it in as Thursday because my original event's Thursday. Here's my original event. I can make it end at a certain time. So if I'm doing this all school year, I could go in and click and put in the last day of school. But for this example, I'll just put it as the last of December. I click Done, Save, and now you'll see that I have a weekly event on Thursday all the way through December. Now I see it's on Christmas. We're not going to have a meeting on Christmas, so I just do a normal left click and I can delete, and I get options. I can either delete just this meeting and all the following meetings, or all of the meetings. Only this instance. Let's go back to November and get rid of the one on Thanksgiving as well. I left click, again I could delete, or I can go in and edit event and I can delete at the top. I get the same options, only this instance, and now I no longer have a meeting on Thanksgiving. Now we know we're not meeting every week, so I'm going to go back to my event, edit it, and get rid of that repeat feature. Save my changes, and now I just have my original meeting. Let's say it gets pushed back. I can click, hold down, drag, and release, and move it to the 20th. Or if it's back on the 13th, I just left click, hold down, drag, release, and I can move the event around. Now you see that the holidays that Google put in were in green, and the event that I typed in showed up in blue. That's because these events are in different calendars. There can be multiple calendars within your Google Calendar. So let's look at that now. When I go over off to the left, I see the calendars. If you don't see them, they're probably closed, so you can open them up to view them. Now I have these holidays in here, but let's say I don't like that in there. I find that distracting. I could hide these. So I go off to the right, pull down menu here, and in the drop down menu I choose hide this calendar from the list. And when I do so, these events disappear. If I change my mind, I can go back to my calendars, my other calendars, and I can click on my settings and go to my list of calendars and add this back into my list, back to calendar, and now I have my holidays again. Up in my calendars, you'll see that Google by default created a calendar called Tana Gardner. That's the name associated with the account. I went in earlier and created a couple additional calendars for this tutorial to go faster. Let me show you how that's done. So I go to the right to the drop down menu, create new calendar. Looks like a busy screen, but let's just put a title in. So we'll call this math collaboration. Create calendar. And it takes a second to refresh, and then it adds in a calendar. It automatically gives it a color. If you don't like that color, you can change it. And now I have an additional calendar. So when I create an event, let's call this ELA Writing. Notice I can choose the calendar directly from here. I'm going to make this a classroom activity. And if I create the event, it's going to make it a day-long event. That's not a day-long event, so I want to put a specific time on it. But a faster way to do that is to click up here, put a comma, and then type in your time. Make sure you say AM or PM. Click Create Event, and now it's created that event at 10:30 in the morning, and it's calling it a classroom activity. I'm going to add in another event, Science Lab. I'm going to make that at 9:30 a.m. I'm going to specify it's a classroom activity and create the event. Now I'm going to have a meeting in my math collaboration calendar. So I'm going to have a math team meeting. And I'm going to do this at 3:20 p.m. And I'm going to make this a math collaboration event. And I create my event. Now I want to share this calendar, these events, with a colleague that's on my math team. So I can share out this calendar with her. I go over to Math Collaboration, click Share this calendar, and I can type in her email address. I can choose her access level. So can she just see the events? Can she make changes to the events? Or can she make changes to the events, see them, and also share the calendar out with others? Right now I'm just going to make it so that she can see the events. Add person, and when I do so, Amy's going to get an email inviting her to this calendar. If she accepts that invitation, whenever she opens up her Google Calendar, she will start to see any event that I add to the math collaboration calendar. Now she will not be able to see my Tana Gardner events or my classroom events or professional development events, only the events that I add into math collaboration. The nice feature to this is, again, it's a collaborative tool in that I can share out calendars with different groups of people, and you can create a lot of calendars in Google. And again, if it gets distracting to have several calendars in there, at any time I can temporarily hide it in order to make it easier for me to see things. Display only this calendar. Or I can go in and open these back up so that you can see them again. We will explore additional Google Calendar events or tools in the future, but for right now, go ahead and get started.